The Ottoman rulers weren't just titled sultans, but also as caliphs, the spiritual successors to the Prophet Muhammad. This title wasn't unanimously accepted by all Islamic countries, but by and large, though, the sultan was internationally recognized as the rightful caliph. Yet, when the Ottoman Empire fell and the position of caliph was made vacant by the Turkish parliament, there was never another, which raises the question, why? Why wasn't there another caliph? So in 1923, after Turkey had established itself as a free nation, there was a lot of debate there as to what was to be done with the old Ottoman rulers. They were no longer the sultans, but they still held the title of caliph. Many Muslims across the world wished for the title to be preserved, but the new Turkish government, fearing that it would lead to foreign interference in the new country, opted to abolish it. The first claimant to the title was Hussein bin Ali, the King of Hijaz, a state ruled by the Hashemite dynasty who had also been the custodians of Mecca for about 1,000 years by this point. His sons were the rulers of Transjordan and Iraq, and so when Hussein declared himself as caliph in the days after the Turkish vacating the title, he was met with a mixed response. His sons recognized his claim, and it was hoped from there that other states would quickly do the same. But fun fact, no. Hussein had basically alienated any and all potential allies. Turkey was never going to recognize him since he fought against the Ottomans, and also its new leaders disagreed with the concept of a caliph. The rest of the Arab world saw him as someone untrustworthy who'd not only teamed up with the British for the sake of power, but someone who'd also quickly been discarded by them. Which is why, when the neighbouring kingdom of Najd attacked him, nobody came to his aid, he was forced into exile, and his lands were soon incorporated into the brand new kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And so after this, there was no one actively claiming the title. Led by Muslims in British India, nowadays Pakistan, a movement to restore the caliph pushed for an international conference to elect one in 1926. Several prominent names were put forward. King Fuad of Egypt, who said no since he and many in his country sided with the Turks in believing that Islam would be better led by a Congress of independent nations instead of one man. Another was King Yusuf of Morocco, whose forefathers had previously claimed the title before, but he was seen as being too at the mercy of Europeans for him to be a realistic choice. And the last candidate to be considered was Abdulmajid, the exiled former Ottoman Sultan who was quickly dismissed as being disgraced and thus unfit to lead. And outside of these people, there was only one realistic candidate left, King Abdulaziz of the Saud dynasty. His country was sizable and he was in control of the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, but he never tried to claim the title, and frankly he had zero interest in it whatsoever. Furthermore, Saudi Arabia wouldn't have had the international backing to take the title as the Ottomans had done, since the Ottomans had the backing of many in British India and Southeast Asia. The Saudi ruling dynasty was largely an unknown, and it adhered to different practices from much of the Islamic world. And it was these practices which were the primary reasons that the Saudi leadership made no claim. Their doctrine strictly forbid the veneration of anyone except for God. Now, the Ottomans and most other Islamic countries did as well, but unlike them, the Saudi leadership believed that the continuation of the use of the title of caliph could have potentially led to that happening. And thus, after this, there was never another concerted effort to create a caliph.